Problem number 3.
Go.
A grocery store purchases melons from two distributors, J and K. Distributor J provides melons from organic farms. The distribution of the diameters of the melons from distributor J is approximately normal with mean 133 millimeters and standard deviation 5 millimeters. For a melon selected at random from distributor J, what is the probability that the melon will have a diameter greater than 137 millimeters?
So, because the distribution for distributor J is approximately normal, we use normal CDF with our lower bound as 137, and then our upper bound was infinity. The mean was 133, and standard deviation was 5. And we got 0.212 as the probability of melons selected randomly from distributor J will have a diameter greater than 137 millimeters.
For the squaring of part A, we determined that the three necessary components for an answer was the notation, the shaded bell curve, and the correct answer. If you had 3 of the correct components, you got essentially correct. If you had 2, you got partially correct, and if you had 1 or 0, you got incorrect. So the combination for the 2 could be either the bell curve and the normal CDF, or the bell curve and the correct answer, or the notation and the correct answer. But you had to have the bell curve shaded on the correct side and the correct notation, including the bounds.
Distributor K provides melons from non-organic farms. The probability is 0.8413 that a melon selected at random from distributor K will have a diameter greater than 137 millimeters. For all the melons at the grocery store, 70% of the melons are provided by distributor J and 30% are provided by distributor K. For a melon selected at random from the grocery store, what is the probability that the melon will have a diameter greater than 137 millimeters?
Alright, so out of all the melons at the grocery store, 30% are from distributor K, and out of those melons, 84.13% have a diameter that's greater than 137 millimeters, and then the rest have a diameter that's less than 137 millimeters. Then 70% of the melons from the grocery store are from distributor J, and out of those, 21.2% have a diameter greater than 137 millimeters. So then what we did at the top here was we multiplied the probability that a melon's from distributor K by the probability that a melon from distributor K has a diameter greater than 137 millimeters, and then added that to the number where we multiplied the probability that a melon's from distributor J by the probability that a melon's from distributor J and has a diameter greater than 137 millimeters. And with that, we got 0.40079 as our probability that a melon selected randomly from the grocery store has a diameter greater than 137 millimeters.
So for scoring this problem, we found that the necessary components were the calculated probabilities, adding the correct probabilities, and the correct answer. So somewhere in the answer, the student has to indicate that they know which probabilities to multiply together. They have to indicate they know that to add them together, and then they have to have the correct answer. And again, like the last problem, if you have all 3 necessary components, it's essentially correct. If you have 2 of the necessary components, it's partially correct. And then if you only have 1 or 0 or don't have any of the necessary components, it is incorrect. And again, the combinations can be different, but to get the essentially correct, you must have all 3.
Given that a melon selected at random from the grocery store has a diameter greater than 137 millimeters, what is the probability that the melon will be from distributor J?
Yeah.
Alright, so for this problem, we use the formula that the probability of A given B is the probability of A and B divided by the probability of B. So the probability that a melon a randomly selected melon has a diameter greater than 137 millimeters and is from distributor J is 0.7 times 0.212. And then for the bottom, for the probability that a melon has a diameter greater than 137 millimeters, we use the number we got from part B and put that in your calculator and you get 0.37 as the probability a melon randomly selected from the grocery store will be from distributor J, given that it has a diameter greater than 137 millimeters.
Okay, so for the scoring of part C, we decided the necessary components were calculating the probability of A and B, dividing that by the probability of B, so essentially using the formula and having the correct answer. So, if you had 3 of those components, again, it was essentially correct. If you had 2, it was partially correct. If you had 1, it was incorrect. And then, overall, we decided that the possible scoring combinations were to get a 4, all 3 parts, A through C, had to be essentially correct. For a 3, either 2 could be essentially correct and 1 partially correct, or 2 could be partially correct and 1 essentially correct. And then to get a 2 on the free response, you have to have 2 partially correct, 1 incorrect, or 1 essentially correct, 1 partially correct, and 1 incorrect, or 1 essentially correct and 2 incorrect. To get a 1 on the free response, you'd have to get 2 incorrect and 1 partially correct, and then for 0, you'd have all 3 incorrect.
This is Holly Newman reporting from statistics.com. I'm here with Carl Pearson. I'm going to interview him about his life and the statistics he created. What country are you from?
I'm from London, England.
Okay, Carl, could you please tell me a little bit about your upbringing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I descended from Yorkshire, England, and I was a Quaker from both sides of my family. Yeah, I was brought up in the Church of England. Yeah, it was pretty nice there. Yeah, you know, they had a priest and everything. And yeah, I mean, that's just my identity. I'm just a Quaker, you know. Yeah, excuse me. Thank you very much. Please put that mic down. Of course. Yeah, I went to college. It was pretty fun. I was brought up with my brother, my sister, and my mom and dad, obviously. Because, you know, virgin the beast, you know. And so anyways, I was educated until I was 9 years old, and I went to college because I was just the smartest man on earth. Yes, and I went to college until I was 16, thank you very much. And I was a private tutor, or no, I had a private tutor, I'm sorry. I was not a private tutor. I had a private tutor.
So, how did you get into math?
What'd you say here? I took an examination in statistics in England in 1875, you know. And, you know, I passed it. Yeah, not too good. And I got a scholarship to the King's College, which is the most prestigious of all colleges in the world. And I also went to Cambridge, and I worked with famous mathematics tutor Edward Ruth, and obtained a rank of a master statistician. I got the ranking of a 3rd wrangler in highly competitive mathematical trips. 1879, you know, Deep Wrangler, yee. In 1884, I was appointed a professor in the University College in London, England. You know, it was pretty good there. I taught graphical methods to engineering, and then I started like a little bit more statistics. You know, it was a lot of fun. Thank you.
So, can you tell me how this relates to what kids are learning in statistics classes today?
No. I'm just kidding. Well, I took the data and the correlations, and I put them into curves to fits the data, and for the latter purpose, I developed the chi-square distribution.